The truth about alcohol from a nutritionist's perspective. Alcohol consumption is just really widely accepted as a social norm, but it's really important that we understand all of the risks that are associated with that. I'm going to talk about alcohol from a just nutritional standpoint. Should you drink it? Should you stop? All of that. So first, let's talk about the downsides of alcohol from a health perspective. Number one, drinking too much can cause liver damage. Excessive alcohol consumption can lead to so many different liver diseases like liver cancer and alcoholic fatty liver disease and hepatitis, cirrhosis. Then if you constantly are drinking over time, it can really lead to irreparable damage and totally decreased liver function. Number two, alcohol consumption is linked to an increased risk of cancer, of multiple cancers actually. These are all the different types of cancers. I'm going to write them there that alcohol can increase the risk of. Obviously the risk just really escalates with heavy regular drinking, but it's important to note that even a moderate drinking of alcohol regularly can increase the risk of these cancers too. There's a study, and I'm going to be putting all the links of the studies in the description so you can dig further into each issue, but the study showed that even people who were light to moderate drinkers, so up to 2 drinks a day, had an increased risk of certain types of cancers. Just a little reminder that you can find all of the services I offer on my website, and that's going to be the first link in the description. You can check out things that are paid, like my nutrition coaching sessions or my courses, but there's also a ton of free material from webinars to ebooks to checklists to challenges, so make sure to check that out. Number 3, drinking alcohol impairs cognitive function. When you drink, your ability to make correct judgments, your memory, your cognitive abilities, all of that are impaired, and you can even experience a blackout, so that means that you have no memory of what happened when you were drinking. And so all of this really happens instantly. If you drink too much on one night, you can have all of these experiences, but also if you heavy drink all the time, it's really something that can become permanent and cause irreversible brain damage. And studies have shown that even moderate drinking can really impair cognitive function over time. And so these are short-term effects, but if you're chronically drinking very heavily, then there can also be long-term effects like dementia and a ton of chronic brain diseases. Number 4, alcohol intake can also lead to increased cardiovascular risks and problems. Heavy alcohol intake can lead to high blood pressure and having an irregular heartbeat, also being increased risk for heart failure and for stroke. Studies show that even moderate drinking, and in this study, moderate is defined as between 7 and 13 drinks per week, depending on if you're a male or female. Even moderate drinking can lead to these increased risks. And this is important to note because there are some studies, and there is this debate whether or not alcohol at a very low, moderate level can actually prevent cardiovascular issues. So we're going to talk about that more later. Number 5, drinking can also have mental health consequences. First of all, drinking can exacerbate mental health issues that you already have, like bipolar disease and depression. And it can also create new ones like alcohol-induced anxiety or things like that. And in general, if you're addicted to alcohol and you undergo alcohol withdrawal, so when you stop drinking, it can just lead you to have very negative outlook on life and to just feel like you need to keep on drinking in order to be happy. And so you can see how that is not good for you long term. Alcohol intake increases accident and serious injuries. Alcohol impairs your motor skills and impairs your judgment, and so when you are drunk, you are more likely to make poor decisions, and you are more likely to get in a car crash or to hurt yourself, to fall or to do something dangerous, to do dangerous activities, and you're just more put at risk when you are under the influence of alcohol, again, because your judgment is clouded and because your movements are not the same. Also, your pain tolerance is different when you are drunk, so you can really hurt yourself, like really injure yourself, and not really feel it if you are under the influence of alcohol. So now that we've seen the general downsides of alcohol, let's get more into the nutrition side of things. First off, alcohol increases appetite. There's research that shows that the more you drink, the more likely you are to be highly rewarded for highly palatable and like calorie dense food choices. And this is probably something that you've seen. When you drink a lot, you tend to feel hungrier. And there's another thing that goes along with that, and that is a decreased control over your food choices. So alcohol consumption can decrease your judgment and decision-making abilities and kind of like inhibit certain behaviors that you have that are going to be to like eat healthy and listen to your hunger cues and not overeat and not eat like a ton of junk food. And so all of this can just be inhibited when you are under the influence of alcohol. Just like any other poor decisions, you are more likely to make them when you are drunk. So this can also cause you to overeat on things that you don't want or particularly need, and then that can cause weight gain and all of that. Alcohol also decreases nutrient efficiency because it is going to interfere with the absorption of certain nutrients. For instance, chronic heavy drinking can really interfere with the absorption of B vitamins and just in general leave you with a deficit of B vitamins, which can then in turn lead to very serious brain conditions and like memory loss and all of that. And finally, alcohol is just full of empty calories. Now, I hate the word empty calories for food purposes because I feel like no food has empty calories because you're getting some type of nutrients, but with alcohol it's really empty calories, and per gram alcohol is 7 calories, and that is more than carbs and protein. So for people who are trying to watch their weight and who are doing a great job at balancing their eating and having a healthy relationship with food, if you are drinking a bunch of alcohol and like a bunch of cocktails and a bunch of wine, then that can really impact that. And the issue that I see with it is that then you can be like, oh, since I had like this alcohol, let me skip a meal. And of course that's not beneficial because you're not getting the nutrients that you need. You're just getting your calories from the alcohol, but you're not getting like everything that you need in terms of energy from food and nutrients. So that can really be an issue. And I see lots of people who tell me, oh yeah, I didn't eat because, you know, I drank, so I already got my calories, but they're empty calories. That's not good. And so this also kind of brings us back to the point that I made previously, that is, it could like lead to some nutritional deficiencies. And obviously if alcohol like prevents the absorption of certain nutrients, and also you are not eating certain meals, you're skipping certain meals because you want to save your calories for alcohol, you can see how all of this is not good for your nutrition. But is alcohol ever okay? So a very important difference between food and alcohol is that you need food to live. You can't survive without it, but you don't need alcohol to live. You can live a very happy, healthy life without alcohol and not be frustrated and not end up binge drinking because you're not getting enough alcohol. And also, alcohol is a drug that you can be addicted to, and not food, regardless of what you think. So just keep this in mind. And actually, there are some small minor benefits to alcohol. Potential cardiovascular benefits, and I talked about this a little bit earlier. There is some research that shows that some alcohol may potentially decrease the risk for heart disease, specifically red wine, because it has like resveratrol and other antioxidants. And in general, very light drinking, when I say very light, I mean between 1 and under 5 drinks per week, is actually associated with the lowest death risk from like cancer or heart disease. So there could be different factors that explain this. Like I talked about, it could be the resveratrol and antioxidants, but there's also something else to take into account, and that is the fact that alcohol will lower stress levels. Alcohol has been associated with stress relief, and also is it favorable to like social connections and like bonding, and people who enjoy having a glass of two with friends will generally be people that have like a way of kind of like relieving stress and of like connecting socially and just doing fun things like that. And this can lead to, again, reduce stress, reduce blood pressure, and reduce cardiovascular disease. That plus the resveratrol and antioxidants, that could potentially explain why certain studies show that very light drinking has potential benefits. Because chronic stress has been linked to increased rate of heart disease, and so if you are drinking a little bit with your friends, enjoying a glass or two in a nice social setting, and you are maybe like cooling off a little bit, like blowing steam off, just like relieving a little bit of the pressure, and that indirectly can lead to an improved risk of heart disease, like lower your risk of heart disease. Now I want to answer this question that a lot of people are wondering, and that is, if you have to drink, like if you can't stop drinking, if you want to keep on drinking, is it better to drink a little bit every day or to drink like a lot, get all your drinks in one day or like on the weekend? So it's not good to drink every day. But also, when you are saving all your alcohol for one day, then you are just overloading your body, overloading the system. Like I talked about, alcohol is a toxin and that needs to be excreted from your body. And so alcohol is turned into acetaldehyde, which is an even worse toxin, let's be honest. And then that is turned to acetic acid, and then that is turned to water and carbon dioxide that can be excreted from your body. And so that works well when you're not drinking a lot, but if all of a sudden you're like overloading the system, overloading your body with a ton of alcohol, then you're just gonna have an accumulation of acetaldehyde and you're gonna get all these negative effects, and that's not good. In terms of like long-term effects, it is better to drink a little bit every day, because if you are drinking a ton on one day, then there's more chances of causing like liver damage and brain damage, and then more risks to cause serious injuries or accidents or like impair your judgment or things like that. But remember that daily drinking, if you're drinking every day, even if it's just 1 or 2 glasses, then you're never giving your body a break from the poison that is alcohol. Rule of thumb is that healthy adults should have no more than around 10 drinks a week and have no more than 4 drinks within the same day, and have at least a few days a week where they are not drinking. Days off, where your body doesn't have to eliminate a toxin. And please remember that this is like the maximum guideline, that if you don't want to drink at all, that's even better. So in short, there is no nutritional reason to drink alcohol. However, there are certain like social aspects of it and like fun aspects of it, and just like you wanting to enjoy your life aspects of it that may all explain why you potentially want to keep on drinking alcohol. Like I absolutely love having a few drinks when I'm out with my friends, or when or like a cocktail when I'm at a nice place to eat. Like it's totally part of something pleasurable for me, and that is why I do it, because I want to also be able to do things that I enjoy. But it's definitely not because there are benefits from a nutritional standpoint or even a health standpoint. So if you are not drinking, that's great. Don't start. If you are drinking more than 7 to 13 drinks a week, then maybe be a little bit careful and try to like review your choices a little bit. And if you are like light to moderately drinking, so less than 7 drinks a week, then you're all good. I still think that it's important to emphasize that alcohol is a drug. Alcohol can be dangerous, but as with everything, a few drinks once in a while can be fun, relieve some pressure, and just make you enjoy your life a little bit more. So in that situation, it's fine. That's it for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like it and subscribe, and see you on my next one. Bye.